All right, very good morning to everybody. I am on my morning walk. I could feel the autumn chill coming through, but there are a couple of thoughts that have been percolating through my mind that I want to share with you. Many people have been asking, how do I stop fights with my spouse or my partner, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my husband and wife? Look, fights are inevitable. You'll always have the lovers' tiff. Every now and again there will be some kind of controversy that would cause you to flare up. Now, the occasional fights, we're not really very concerned about that, but it's the type of fights where you blow out, where like a volcano you blow up and you say things and do things that leave both of you really wounded and smarting, where you're shut down, but the pain in your heart is bleeding. And what is more is if these fights recur over and over and over again. Now, how do we stop these fights? Before I tell you how to stop the fights, let me just give you a quick story that will serve as an illustration of how to really effectively stop fights. My friend tells me of an incident that happened at school between her young teenage son and a teacher. Now, boys will be boys and they will always get into little bit of problems. They will push the boundaries, they will say things, but this particular instance, the school called her in over his quote-unquote rude remarks. Now, generally, although he gives trouble, he's not rude excessively. He's a fairly respectful child. And so she went in, they spoke, they kind of tried to resolve it. When she went home, it's like the Spirit said to her to ask him what was happening before the incident occurred. How was he feeling, or what was transpiring? She said that she didn't really know why she was asking that question. She just felt like asking the question. And lo and behold, he said that he was hungry. Now, she remembered that he actually left home that morning without eating. Here is the point. A hungry man is an angry man. The hunger that he felt made him very vulnerable or irritable or easily triggered by whatever the teacher was saying or doing. It brings me to a very important point. Fights at the root usually is sometimes and most times, 90-something% of the time, is not about the thing that you're fighting about. There are some root issues. There are some things under the various little stuff that trigger you. So many people would say, you know what, this thing escalated and it was a small issue. It was just a tiny stuff. So maybe something I said, leaving the shoes in the wrong place or forgetting something. And they can't really understand why a small molehill blew up into a huge mountain volcano. The reason why that is, ladies and gentlemen, is because below that is a simmering resentment, simmering bitterness, simmering negativity, something that you don't suspect is there. And something you said or did was the trigger, was the spark that caused that volcano to erupt. So how do you stop fights? You try to get down to the bottom of it. That same friend and her husband have an ongoing issue about where to put shoes when you come into the house. And they normally fight about it. That's a very simple thing. Where do you put your shoes? Don't leave your shoes at the bottom of the stairs. Don't lose your shoes right at the front door. A simple thing. And you and I sometimes could speak about what they should do about the shoes, but in exploring that, it was more than just the shoe. This guy grew up in a house where everything, his dad was very organized and insist that things be put in order. So it became normalized that the house is kept a certain way, looked a certain way, because it reflects on the type of people they are. If someone comes in the house and shoes are everywhere and things are not organized, somehow or the other, the thought behind that is that people are going to think that these people are untidy, these people are disorganized, and that negative concept or image was not a good thing. So they were drilled, they were hammered to keep the place organized, to make the place look good. Whereas on the flip side, when he comes in and he sees things disorganized, not put back in the right place, not organized, it upsets him and he lashes out. And when he lashes out, his wife doesn't really like the way that he speaks to her. She feels disrespected. She feels that she's ordering her around, and her back goes up. Her hackles get activated, and the two of them spark each other off, and they have a massive row. Not realizing that below all that, even though they're speaking about the shoes, even though they're speaking about the house not being tidy, is the need, really, the emotional need. One, for him to have a well-organized house because it reflects well on him and his family. And for her to be able to be spoken to in a respectful way. She doesn't have a problem in keeping the house tidy. In fact, she wants the house to be tidy too. They both want the same thing. So, here is the issue, ladies and gentlemen. You have to begin to understand what is the fight about. Not the surface issue, because these are just symptoms of deeper things. And when you could understand that, you'll be able to stop your fight and address deeper emotional issues that could help you to both meet each other's needs. Now, what do you do when you're dead right center in the battle? When you're giving each other blows, that he says something that really triggers you, you retort back and you attack him or her, and they defend themselves and they get back at you. Oh, what do you do? Now, here's a simple idea. Simple idea is try not to react, but to respond. Try to manage your emotions. Hold your horses. Say to yourself, rather than saying the first thing that comes to your mind, just simply take a deep breath, pause, and ask this question. A simple question, but a question that is powerful enough to help in the moment resolve issues. Just say to your spouse, your partner, you're upset. I understand that you're angry at this point in time, but tell me, is there anything, one thing that I could do to help solve the issue? You're asking for solutions. You're going past the immediate triggers over the anger through the reactions, and you're asking for solutions. What can I do that will make you feel better? And listen to what the person says. What that does, it checks the person anger, it checks the person flooding, it checks the person because the person is being controlled by the limbic system and not the cortex, the intelligent mind. And it helps the person to begin to process this thing intelligently. They may or may not have an answer at that point in time, but if they don't, just simply say, let's think about it. Let's be a little bit solution focused. Sometimes they just want you to listen. Sometimes they want to hug. Sometimes they want you to address an issue that has been ongoing. Now, these ideas, ladies and gentlemen, can help you to stop fights. Before I go on, let me just suggest to you that some of you might be able to use these and effectively stop your fight. Some of you might be fighting for so long that it has become chronic. And when chronic disease happens, you need to go to the doctor. And some of you might have sustained heart hurts that are still bleeding. And again, you might need to go and see someone to help you to navigate and heal. And if you need some help, I have two solutions really. One, you can pick up a guide that I have, very simple, very cheap. You can click on the link someplace in the description or the bio, and you'll find that this is called the conflict deactivator or the argument deactivator. And this has some really very powerful, effective tips, strategies, and skills you can use to stop your fights, your arguments, and your conflicts. Now, if you really at a stage where you need some direct help, you need some intervention, you need to come to the emergency room, to the doctor, feel free to click on another link and book a session with me. Now these, although they are paid for, they are very, very inexpensive compared to what you're going to have to pay if you get a divorce. Compared to the hurt that you are sustaining, the stress on your system. So feel free to click on one of these links and I'll speak to you soon. So stay strong, stay hopeful, and remember, if you're fighting, it means that you're still wanting that person to love you, or that person is still wanting you to love them. Take care, stay blessed.